This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so have you practiced at least what are the topics that we covered yesterday?
Yeah, I set up a style sheet. I didn't get a chance to do much, but I did connect it. I linked it, and yeah, I haven't put any content in though.
Okay. You wanna share and show something to me, or should I continue with my session?
Uh, I don't have much. Maybe continue if that's okay.
Okay, fine. Let me share my screen.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let me know if you're able to see.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. Okay, so this is the output that we got yesterday, right? So as per our
Mm-hmm.
discussion, so we want to make sure to create a website. So what you this is what that we plan to make. It's a website that yeah,
Let's
this
see.
one only, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we'll do one by one, okay? So first
Okay.
of all, we need to just to plan this header one. Okay. So what I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to do here, I'm going to create a classes for it, class header. Okay. So unnecessary
Mm-hmm.
CSS elements I'm going to remove from the CSS if any. So looks like everything is required here. This background color may not required because for every div element we are going to create a separate class. So for this uh, content, I'm giving a class name, and for this I'm going to give class name as footer, and for this I'm going to give a class name as cookies. Okay, so what I have to do once I just create the classes, but I need to check that in the CSS file, do we have these classes in CSS file or not? Okay, so looks like we have a class only for header, but in header also we do not have any properties, right?
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
instead of that, we'll create a classes one by one so that you will get to know like what is the best practice to do one by one. So footer and next cookies. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now what we are going to do is for the first one, first of all, I'm going to remove this background color. Okay, because every div has a different, you know, uh, background color, and maybe background color is not at all required. Okay, so we have this width 100% and height 100 pixels. If you look at that output, what we want to replicate, the height is not fixed. For header it is something like 100 pixels, but when it comes to content, the height is more, and when it comes to footer, the height is more, right? So we are
Mm-hmm.
not actually going to add the height. Okay,
Mm.
so the only thing that I'm making that width 100%. If height is required, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add to the classes wherever it is required for me. Okay. So what I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
do now, I'm for header, I'm going to add only height for 100 pixels. Now if you observe, there is no background color, so now you are not able to see any color here, but whenever you do the inspect element, still you can see the classes here. Okay, header is there, and you have a header class here in the CSS which comes from the style.css and line number 9. And when you select the content class has been already created, and it is coming style.css from line number 13. The same way it is for footer and cookies. Okay, so for header, okay, if you see that So we have some height here, okay, and what we are going to do here, there is a border here, right?
Mm-hmm.
The black color border. So what we can do, right, for header, what we're going to do is we are going to add a border for it. Okay. So now let me add a property called border width 1 pixels and border style solid and border color black.
Mm.
So these are the properties for a border in CSS. Border width, border style, border color. If you observe a header, now you can see the border for it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So to apply a border, we need to give all these properties. So these are the minimum properties. Okay. But
Mm-hmm.
in some of the websites, I mean some of the CSS what do you call that, tutorials or any YouTube videos, you may see a border property in a different way, like this, like border 1 pixels space solid space black. Okay, so what we are done here is this is the individual property, border width, border style, border color. This is the individual property. Now what we are doing here, we are clubbing all these three and we are writing together here.
Mm. How did you
Okay,
do that?
so how did you understand? I mean, I hope you are following that, what are the changes that I have made here.
Yeah.
I just added a one more property as border and I have added like, 1 pixel space solid space black.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought you did
Nothing
something
else.
else. Okay.
No, I did nothing. Only I did only that much only.
Mm.
Okay, so instead of writing individual properties like this, we can club all the values together, and we can make the property name as a border. So this we used to call we used to call this as shorthand property. Okay, shorthand property in the sense this instead of that border width, border style, border color. So the border is common everywhere, right? So now
Mm-hmm.
we are making that border and we're adding that 1 pixels here, solid here, and black here. So now if you uncheck these three, still you see the same output
Mm.
because we have written here as a shorthand property.
Mm.
Okay, so the order should be must. So like let us say, so first I have written border width 1 pixels, border style as a solid value, and border color as a black. So instead of that, if I make a like a black solid 1 pixels.
Same.
Okay, same. But the way we are writing standardized, right? So the standardized
Mm-hmm.
approach is to follow like this only. The border width first, then after border style and the border color.
Mm.
So it is supporting because that the browser has been updated, but we never know whether the same kind of order is supporting another browser or not.
Mm.
Okay, if you see this black triangle here, and if you click this triangle, what it is going to show, there are a lot of properties under this border.
Mm.
Okay, yeah, we don't need all of them, but we need some of them. So we'll focus on them later point of time. Okay,
Okay.
so now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write a property directly here, border 1 pixel solid. Okay.
Mm.
And now let me reload this. So I have the same. So now if you see border width, instead of that one, we can increase this. So if you add the one instead of one, if you make two, you can see that the border is increasing bit, right?
Mm.
So instead of selecting and typing, what you can do, once you put your cursor here, okay, before or after this number, and do that in your keyboard. If you are using laptop, so the laptop keypad, you have like up and down arrows, right? Up and down and left and right arrows, right? So
Yeah.
that you can just click that up arrow,
Oh.
so the border is going to increase. And if you feel that okay, 3 pixels is good, I mean, you can feel that 3 pixels is perfect for this, you can keep, you can stop, and you just copy the 3 pixels and put it that in your code.
Mm.
Okay, but in our
Okay.
case we don't need that. And at the same time, when it comes to solid, this has a lot of things. Okay, see,
Mm.
what we have, solid, yeah, this is another style, I think. Okay,
Dotted.
we'll do one thing, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll find, first of all, we'll find that what are the styles that we have. Border icon style. See, if you see this,
Mm.
these are all the styles only. Dashed,
Mm.
dotted, double, groove, hidden, and it won't work. So we are not going to use all of them. Okay. Most of the
Mm.
time it is like solid and dotted maybe.
Mm.
Okay. If you don't remember the style, so still you can create a one more property and use that border style and find any one of them.
Mm.
Okay. So now I'm going to keep that solid only. Okay. Now,
Mm-hmm.
now when you see this output, right? Now there is no border for four sides, right? We
Mm.
don't need a border
Yeah.
four sides here. So we need a border only bottom only. If you look at this entire header as a one block, okay, from here to here, right?
Mm-hmm.
The border is needed only on bottom area, not top or not left or not right, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for that, how we are going to do is, in simple terms, this border property we can change border hyphen bottom.
Mm.
Okay, that is the one way. Or else, what the another way is that lengthy way, border top none. We
Hidden.
don't need,
Oh. Yeah.
not hidden, none. Okay, border
Mm.
hyphen left, none. Border hyphen right, none. This is another way to remove the borders.
Mm.
Okay, or else
Mm.
simply you can change this border hyphen bottom straight property and you can apply. So then there is no need of this.
Mm.
Okay, clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, so now let us use this border bottom only here. Good. So
Yeah.
next, when it comes to footer area, okay. So now let us find that what is the background color that they have used here.
Mm.
So as I told you, instead of finding that this entire div and where they have started, and sometimes we may get immediately, but sometimes we may not, right? So now if I
Mm-hmm.
select the footer element, okay, so this is the instead of div they have used the direct footer here. So we have some
Mm-hmm.
elements where it starts with the header footer. Those are comes under HTML5 version. Okay. So when we discuss
Yeah.
HTML5, that time I'll explain those. Okay.
Okay.
So now
The
just
color
focus
is
on the
there.
background color. Okay, the
Yeah.
background color is there. So for a confirmation, we are just checking, uncheck this, and we can see that. Okay, so what we are
Mm-hmm.
going to do is let's copy this, and when it comes to footer, background color, I'm keeping this.
Mm.
Okay, and for a temporary purpose, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a height as 200 pixels. Okay, now this
Mm.
is header and this is footer. In between, we have a one more element called content, right?
Yeah.
This content, we don't know what gonna be a height. So approximately we are going to add some height to it, and there is no background color is required because we have a background color already for a body. We don't need a special color for a content area, right? Because if you see this as
Mm-hmm.
well, right? So what we are going
Yeah.
to do is simply I'm going to create only height for a content area. I'm going to add a 500 pixels. And now if you see this, now you can see that header area and content area. And if you look at this, this is the footer area.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. Now, if you observe one thing that this we can see few gaps here. Okay, here
Mm-hmm.
and here as well. We can see some gaps here, right? And when you see the footer as well, now bottom of this footer also you can see some gap, right? So
Yeah.
this is why this gaps is coming. So by default, a HTML when you run the HTML page and a browser by default has some margins. Okay. So now
Mm-hmm.
what we are going to do is we are going to make that margin 0. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one property here as margin left. Okay, so instead of writing here, what I'll do, I'll write in inspect element area so that you also practice in the same way.
Mm.
And if I select, see if I select the body, right? Now you can see
Yeah.
there is some orange color is showing around this, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that orange color represents that margin. Okay, so you can ask me like how do you know that the orange color is represents the margin color? And whenever you select the body and come to this right side place and scroll down, and now you can
Mm.
see entire page layout here. And if you just hover on this, now you can see that margin. So there is 8 pixels of margin, top, bottom, and left, right.
Mm.
And when you see some element, when you find that green color, that is called padding.
Mm.
Okay, so we did not apply any padding so far. Yeah, but we'll come to that point later. So now what we want to do now, if you look at that, by default we can see 8 pixels of margin everywhere. Top, right, left and right, and top and bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that I have a property of margin left, make it 0, and margin right, make it 0. Now you can see there is no gap here, right? The
Mm.
left and
Yeah.
right. And now come scroll down and see this. Do you see any gap here? No, right? There is no a
No.
number 8 here. You can see top
Yeah.
and bottom only, right? And go back to
Mm-hmm.
that this now body element again, and margin top 0 and margin bottom also 0. So make sure to understand that we are applying this margin property to a body element, not for any of the element of divs, okay, or header or
Mm-hmm.
content or footer classes. We're applying this margin straight away to the body. This is very common thing and everybody has to do whenever they start their work, whether it is a small application or large application. First make sure to make it that four sides of margin should be 0.
Okay. There's no way to do it like
Okay,
all margins together?
yes, we have that option. Yeah.
Okay.
So now, yeah, we have a four options. If you remember that, how we have modified that border tab, border property, right? Shorthand property,
Mm-hmm.
right? So in the same
Yeah.
way, what we can do is margin and put first 0 for top, second 0 for right, third 0 for bottom, fourth 0 for left. So you should understand that should now remember it in a clockwise. Okay,
Yeah.
top, right, bottom, left. When you
Okay.
give that shorthand property like this, see now, whenever I add that, all these properties are striked out. So this
Mm.
means, so instead of writing four properties and different four properties and different values, I'm making this in a shorthand property.
Is there
Okay,
ever a time?
and
Oh,
sorry.
is there ever a time it can be negative?
Yeah, it can be. For margin it
Mm,
can be, but for padding is it is not going to support. For margin it can be.
okay.
Okay. And now when you see the margin, all four sides we have added as a zero. When four values are equal, top right, bottom left, four values are equal, instead of writing four times, we can write only one time. That is also gives same output to us.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And for a safer side, what we are going to do is for body, because we are right now we are checking this file in the no, Chrome browser, and we never
Mm,
know how it is going to behave in other browsers. Okay, so there is no strict rule that every browser by default it gives 8 pixels of space, 8 pixels of margin. If you go for any other browser, like say Firefox, or if you go for any other browser, Internet Explorer, it is going to give a more space than Chrome browser. We never know because the browsers has built in their own way. Okay, so we have to reset it first. Okay, using with the CSS properties, we have to reset it and we have to fix one value so that wherever the browser it is, and as long as the browser supports CSS properties, it should work in the same way in all the browsers. So this
mm,
is the first thing that we have to do for a margin. In the same way, how we are giving the margin value as a zero, in the same way we have a property called padding also. For a betterment, we are going to give property as padding also zero, so that in any of the browsers, or suppose if the browser has a padding also, default padding also, so it is going to override with a zero,
mm.
so that there will be no spaces at four sides. Clear?
Okay. Yeah.
So how we have a properties of margin, like margin top, margin right, margin bottom, and margin left. In the same way for padding also we have the same properties like padding top, padding right, padding bottom, padding left also. So for a
Mm-hmm.
margins we can give no minus values, negative values, but when it comes to padding, it supports only positive values.
Okay.
Clear? Any question?
Yeah. No.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this margin and padding properties, and I'm keeping here straight away margin 0 and padding 0.
Mm.
Okay, now if you see this output and just reload this page, same as it is. Clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So now what we are going to do is now there is a logo here. Okay, what I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
do is okay, is this first of all you need to find that is this text or is it is a okay, it is a SVG file.
Mm.
Okay, so you know SVG, right?
Yeah. I don't know like
Okay.
the differences, but I know of it.
I mean, you don't know what stands for SVG, right?
No, I
That is
don't.
what you're saying? Okay, it's
Yeah.
scalable vector graphic.
Okay.
SVG stands for scalable vector graphic. So, why we are using SVG files in the websites? Okay, now we understand that this is a clear image, right?
Yeah.
And this is this one. Okay, these are all the yeah, clear image. But whenever you do the zoom in, right, for this, we may see some pixels, right? Because this is an
Mm-hmm.
image, end of the day it is going to be pixelated for sure, but when it comes to SVG it won't. So that is the reason and the most probable most people will now prefer to see the logos and all in SVG format only.
Mm.
Okay, so
Okay.
now if it is the image, what we can do, we are going to save it and we can put into our web page. But still, even though it is SVG also, we can take this. Okay, so right click on this and inspect element, and you can see the SVG. So what I'm going to do is right click on this SVG copy outer HTML, and when I copy this, okay, so sorry, not this. What we need to do is in the header, I'm adding one comment here as
Mm-hmm.
logo, and I'm creating one more div for a logo, and within that div, I'm going to paste that SVG. You understand what I did just now?
Kind of.
No, that is the reason, I told you to know whenever you don't understand, you can stop me straight away. You can ask me. So
Yeah.
I did nothing much. Okay, I just opened this website and I thought that this is the image, either JPG
Mm-hmm.
format or some other image format. But whenever I uh, check the right click option, it is not showing me any other options like save image or something. So now
Mm-hmm.
after that, what I did, I want to inspect that element to know like what exactly how they've written. Then I found that SVG here. So I
Mm-hmm.
realized that they used SVG. Okay, so what is the advantage of the SVG is I told you, right? Scalable
Mm-hmm.
vector graphic so that wherever it is zoom in or zoom out, so it won't lose the actual quality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now if it is an image, straight away we can save it and we can we can save it to into our folder. We have a images folder in our working directory. We can place, and when it comes to our HTML page, we can straight away create a one image element, img src, and we can put that image right path.
Yeah.
That is a regular flow only that how we already did, and you also did that, right? But now
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to this website, that we noticed that it is a SVG file, and for SVG, the other advantage that we have is we can copy that SVG code and we can paste wherever we want in our HTML files. Still it works. So
Oh.
now I selected the SVG file and right click on this SVG file. I choose this option copy and copy outer HTML. So what it does, this entire SVG element I'm going to copy from here. So this is the one way to copy that out of HTML, and second one is right click, edit as HTML. So here as well, Control A and copy.
Okay.
Understand?
Mm.
Sort of, right? You're
Yeah,
not sure,
I got it.
but until you practice, you won't get anything, Darshana. So you must practice every day. Whenever the class is completed, you must practice every day.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
So we're just saving now, and let's check here. See, now we got that sweet green here.
Mm. Now I
Got
just
it?
have to send. Yeah.
Okay. So now when it comes to header, we can see that sweet green is, here itself. Okay. So now if you see, I have created that SVG file. I mean, I copied that SVG file and I placed. I did not directly place it within the header because in the header, if you see this, there is a other navigation link as well. Like, what is that? That speed pass, menu, and icon. All these other items also there. And the alignment
Mm-hmm.
is, if you see that this sweet pass and menu has left aligned as a left, and the sweet green has aligned center, and when it comes to account, it aligned to right.
Mm.
Okay, now if you consider this is entire box, we have a three more boxes within this header. So putting one box for this sweet pass and menu, and putting one more box for this logo, and putting one more box for this account.
Mm.
Clear? So
Yeah.
now I'm going to divide this header as a three more divs. Okay, so the first div is for what? The sweet pass and menus. Okay, this is I'm going to divide as a one box. And second box I have already created. If you look at that, there is a one more div for logo, and
Mm.
this is gonna be a third div.
Okay.
Okay,
Mm.
so now you don't see any output because we have created the three divs here, but we don't give any properties or classes to these divs.
Mm.
Okay, and one more thing that you notice is that if you select divs, it is showing width as 100%. Why? Because we have written element style, element selector div, and the properties has been added as with 100%. As I told you, wherever the div is coming, whether it is the inside of the body or it can be inside of the any of these divs. End of the day, if the div has any properties in the style sheet, it applies directly, automatically.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm.
And if you see this, now even though in header also we have three divs, first div and second div and third div.
Mm.
Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now what I'm going to do here is first I'll check this, on what basis that they made this all these arrangements. So let us see. Okay. So this is that okay. This is that entire div. First of all, this is that entire div with 100%. Then after they made one more div and they gave some padding left and right. So how can I recognize they applied the padding? Because whenever you select this, you can see green color of left and right, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, just focus on this area, this and this area. When I select this, you can see green color, right?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. So that green color, I told you that the green color represents padding. Okay. And even though if I select this, you can see the properties also they have added that padding right 40 pixels and padding left 40 pixels.
Mm.
Okay, and again check this entire thing. Now you can understand that what which color is for what. So the orange color, whenever you select any element, if you see the orange color around that element, that means there is some margin for it.
Yeah.
And whenever you see a green color, there is some padding on it. And now if you select this, straight away it is showing there is no margin, there is no border, and if you look at the padding, it is showing left 40, right 40, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is how that you can inspect that actual element and along with the CSS properties as well.
Okay.
Okay. Now when
Yeah.
it comes to this, what they have done, they took like this is one div, this is second div, and this is third div. They also took in the same way. Okay, but
Mm.
in a different approach. So we are not going to copy their structure because the structure that they have made not manually, it is something generated code. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and moreover, that important thing is there is no such rule while creating a web page or a website or application. This is the only standard way that you have to take the elements and you have to take the CSS properties. There is no such. End of the day, you have to now remind two things and you have to put in your mind two things. One is that the output, whenever you see the final output, it should match with your Figma. I mean Figma or XD, whatever it is, should match
Yeah.
with the prototype. That is the first thing. And second
Mm-hmm.
thing, nowadays nobody is doing the non-responsive things, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
whenever you are focusing on output, as I told you, it should match with that prototype. The same way, it should fit to all the devices, and it should be responsive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is the second thing. Just give me a minute.
Yeah.
This should be responsive. Okay, and
Mm.
third thing. even though if you are third thing, but I am giving an important thing for this third thing as well. Why? Because the first thing is that the output should match with the prototype, and second thing is it should be responsive, and third and most important thing, when you write your code and whenever you want to do some modifications or somebody want to do modification on your code, it should be good readability.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay, it is also one of the important thing. Okay,
Yeah.
right? Because
Mm-hmm.
maybe you can claim that your a website view and user interface. You are saying that you can claim that it is 100% matched with the prototype and it is 100% responsive. But when there is a modification required, when the feedback comes from the client and you want to do some modifications, you should not feel like oh, what I have to do here. I have did lot of things and now I am changing everything. Now it is those kind of situations you should never face it.
Mm.
Even though it is a even though there is a feedback from anybody, even though if you want to modify your code, it should be like a cakewalk for you. Should not struggle with that what you have written as somebody no no we so when somebody is working on your code, right, they should not
Yeah.
feel that why doesn't has written in this much complexity in the code.
Mm.
Okay, the first two things will be for client. For the third thing is mainly for yourself and your team self purpose.
Mm.
Okay. So there is at the same time the bottom line is there is no standard rule that we have to do in a such a way, but make sure to whenever somebody or whenever yourself you be reviewing the code, it should be clean and structured way.
Okay.
Clear? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have created three things here. So now when it comes to, so we need to create all this like sweet pass, menu, grid, and blah blah blah. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is first of all, what the divs that I have, I'm going to create a line, not this one. I want to try in a different way so that I can complete like more topics on the same thing. Okay, now if I add a one property to this header, align items, send. Okay, not this align, should be text align. Sorry,
Mm.
center. Okay, now we placed the sweet ground as a center. But if you observe, if you see this entire thing, so the sweet green has been aligned in the center, and if you see the top and bottom, right, both are equal
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And now if I make something to it, to this header, if I add some margin to it, margin top, like 20 pixels, what it is going to do, it is going to it's automatically going to create the more height to it.
Yeah. So would it be padding?
Yes, so
Okay.
it is gonna be a padding top. Now if you see, even though if you add the padding, still the height is increased here.
Mm.
So the thing is, I want to add that padding top and padding, sorry, padding bottom 20 pixels. Now see, padding top already
Mm.
added that we can see the green color, and padding bottom also been added and we can see the background, I mean that green color.
Mm-hmm.
Why we can see lot of height here? Actual, what is the actual height that we gave? 100 pixels.
100.
And on top of it, we have
That's
added
the.
a border 1 pixels. So it is going to be like a 101 of height total, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we have added that 20 pixels of padding and 20 pixels of padding top and bottom. So it is gonna be 100 plus 2120 plus 2140 plus 1,
40.
approximately 141 pixels. If you see that,
Mhm.
whenever you select that, just focus on this area. Whenever you select that, it is showing that the height and actual width and height.
Mhm.
So how much it is showing? Approximately 140.8, almost equal to 141 only, right?
Mm.
So in these scenarios, so usually what we are going to do is we are going to remove height. Even though while you are making a responsive website, the first rule that you have to keep in your mind, do not apply height anywhere.
Okay. It's all padding and margin, right?
Exactly. Do not
Okay.
apply height. It's
Mm.
all about padding and margins. If you need a space or something, probably for a space things within the element, you need a space, you have to apply a padding. Outside of the element, if you need some space, you need to apply margin.
Mm.
Okay, that part we can check later as well. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is padding top 20 pixels, padding bottom 20 pixels. So instead of writing two properties here, what I'm going to do is, let me make this in a single property. When I add a padding 20 pixels, it is going to add for four sides. But we don't need four sides. We need only two sides. That two, top and where?
Bottom.
Bottom.
Top and
So
bottom.
what I'm going to do, yeah. So what I'm going to do is, as I told you, we can write a four properties here, four sides, 20 pixels, and I don't need anything for the right side. So I'm going to put value as a 0. And again, bottom I need a 20 pixels, and for left side also I don't need anything.
Mm.
Okay, like this also I can write. So even though I can make this very shorter, because the top and bottom values are same and left and right values are same. In such a case, how can I make this? I can remove another set. Still you can see
Oh,
same output.
yeah.
So the first value is going to represent top and bottom. The second value is represents left and right.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah.
clear?
Yeah.
So this is the one way to make align this sweet green in the center. Still we have other ways as well, because we cannot go, maybe we cannot go with the text align center. Why? Because we need to put see, we have aligned these entire things in text align center only, but if you look at this header, we have something on the left side and we have something on the right side as well. So that
Mm.
means we have to put the elements here, here and there, left, center and right. So somewhere we have to push our divs towards to right and towards to center and towards to left. That is a challenging thing here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now how we are going to do that?
With padding.
Okay,
Yeah.
now how much you are going to give a padding? You are going to give like hundreds and 500, like that much, which is
No.
wrong. You
Yeah.
cannot give that much of, like 400, 500 max to max. If you want to give a padding less than 100 only, padding or
Mm.
margin.
So do you
That
align
too
it and then
specific,
do
yeah,
padding?
sorry.
Do you align it first and then do padding?
No. So I'll tell you. So first we let us add this speed pass and menus. Okay, menu. Okay. Now this
Mm-hmm.
is the first div that we have. So now let me add this property first. I'm going to remove this. Let me copy everything. Okay. When it comes to div, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write speed pass. Copy this, and we need a link, right? We cannot
Mm-hmm.
simply put that speed pass like this. So if we put speed pass like this, you won't get that link like this.
Yeah.
You will get like a simple speed pass only like this. Okay. So further,
Mm-hmm.
what we are going to do is we are going to add a one more element called A. A stands for anchor, and the the attribute that we have to give for anchor is href. This is a new property, and the speed pass should be between the anchor tag. And I hope you
Mm.
remember that in href we have already used it in link
Link.
link element as well. So as I told you, the first statement, sometimes the same attributes we can use for a different elements. Now if you see that href we are using for anchor tag and for href as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And now we have to give some page link like another html. Okay, when you click the speed pass, it has to go somewhere, right? It has to go to
Mm-hmm.
speedpass.html page, right? So
Yeah.
as we do not have any page in the system right now, any page related to the speed pass. So for temporary purpose, what we are going to make is we are going to put the hash, as we do not have any link immediately. So we are going to keep
Mm-hmm.
href value as a hash. And
Mm.
now what is the other thing that we have is menu. I'm going to copy this anchor tag again and putting here, and I'm going to keep change speed pass to menu. And when it comes to
Mm.
last is showing something account, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put here, and menu I'm going to remove this account. Let me save this and come to this and just reload this. Now if you see the difference, earlier it was a like normal text only. Now you can
Mm.
see that it is a blue color text. Whenever you mouse over on this, it is coming like this.
Mm.
So why everything is now center aligned? Because for a header only you made the text aligned as
Yeah.
a center. So
Mm-hmm.
if you are just uncheck this, it will be by default it will be aligned to left only.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now what I'm going to do for this div, I'm going to make one property. So there are a lot of ways. We'll check one by one. Now if you see,
Mm.
it doesn't need, we don't need this much of width for it. Sorry. Mm. These are the problems that we have when we do that.
Mm.
Float left, and we want to make it something center. Again, whenever we apply this with 100%, we are making this limitation. Earlier it was 100%. Within the 100%, it is coming as a center aligned, because when you start from here and to here, it is 100%, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now it is not, when we are restricting that 100% to 200 pixels. So it is going straight away to the left.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Can't
still,
you couldn't
tell me.
you just select the logo and then center just that?
Yeah, we can do that, but no, we need to give that more height. No, that is the point.
Oh, okay.
We have to add more width to it. Then it will go to center. But remember that whenever we add width as a pixels, we cannot give like this. Probably the
Yeah.
max width that we are going to give maximum less than 1000 pixels, or maybe sometimes it comes like 1200 pixels maximum.
Mm.
It may vary into different. And now if you observe that this entire thing is occupied, and whenever I give this, okay, let me add a more to it. That actual element I did not get this. So this account also I need like this in some place.
Yeah.
Okay. So whatever the approach that we took, like three divs, this is the problem that we have. Okay, so instead of making, maybe no, I did not explain that float and all these new properties to you, right? So we
Mm.
have a property called the display flex. Okay, probably I believe that they also use that flex. If you see flex is here now,
Mm-hmm.
and whenever you scroll on this, you can see somewhere that
Yeah, I saw.
display flex, yeah, display flex. So we can write this using, I mean, we can get this output using with display flex. Even though without using display flex also, still we can do that. That is the reason I'm telling you, there are a lot of ways to get the output.
Mm.
Okay, so there are a lot of ways to get the output. Okay, so what we can do, instead of making like two three parts, let us make two parts this. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm cutting this entire logo. I'm pasting the first div only. Okay, and for this two links also, I'm going to create one more div. Okay, so now we have a two divs. One is for left to nav. Let us consider this as like that. Okay, this is for left to nav, and however this is for
Right.
right nav. So within the left to nav only, you have placed menus and as well as logo both.
Mm.
Right, and what I'm
Yeah.
going to do is I'm going to make this div with 100% for everything. So I'm going to remove here, and I'm going to add that with 100% for each and every class, because we are giving with 100% to div. So wherever divs come, so it is occupying straight away 100%, and we are overriding using with the class. Instead of that,
Mm.
wherever it is required, we can add that, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, just reload this. Now everything comes to center. Why? Because we have a texture in center. Okay, now
Mm.
what I'm going to do, this is the left nav and this is the right nav. When it comes to left nav, what I'm going to do is I'm adding a property called float left for it, and I'm going to give width as 40 percentage, and this
Mm.
is for a second right nav. For this, I'm adding float right. I'll explain what means by float left and right. But right now, nowadays in CSS, we are not actually using the float left and right. Okay. So
Mm.
now I'm going to give width like 30%. Okay. Now float left we have for the first one, and if you check this, this is the again first div, and this is the logo div. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a one more float left. Okay, we are writing for what? No, not for, okay, not for this div. Sorry, not for this div. Oh, let me remove this div first, this empty one.
Mm.
This give so for this is the first div, this is the left nav, and this is the right nav. Let me create a classes as well for them. Class left hyphen nav, class right nav. Okay,
Mm.
so I'm going to create a classes as well for this, but I'm not going to write any properties, because I want to write properties whenever I inspect the elements, so that it will be easy for me how they are how they are going to behave. Okay,
Mm.
left now I'm going to add float value as a left, and for right now I'm going to add float value right.
Okay, this is the first thing.
Mm.
Okay, and next, when you see this left nav, I did not get write any width for it. Okay, so I need to give some width 40%, and for this I need to give some width of 30%. Okay,
Mm.
now if you observe one thing here, the actual line is completely going to towards to top,
Mm.
right? It is not actually under this. Why?
Yeah.
Because it will come because we have used float left and float right values. So the elements are coming. What we are doing, we are making them, we are hardly, I mean, forcibly, we are pushing them towards to left and towards to right.
Mm.
Okay. So whenever we are doing forcibly, sometimes we are going to face this issue. So to resolve this issue, what we are going to do is after this float left and float right values, we are going to clear that area. Okay. So
Mm.
for that, what we are going to do here, we are going to create one more class here, div class equal to clear fix. And first let us copy these properties. Okay. For left
Mm-hmm.
nav, I will explain in detail what exactly for a float left and right. Now you can see the properties. Okay.
Uh-huh. I'll just search it too.
So for this clear fix also, what I'm going to do here is clear both. Now save it. Now check this output. Now you can see that bottom line been coming in correct way.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we have a property called float. Okay, whenever you apply a float left, so that means the entire div is going to forcibly push it to left. And when you see that right now we have added a float right. So that means
Mm.
we are going to forcibly push this right now due to right side. So the problem is whenever you do the float left and float right, the next content why should we do the clear why should we have added that property clear both? Because the next element what is going to come here, right, the element doesn't understand whether I go for a left or right, because my above elements, one of the element forcibly push it to left and another element forcibly push it to right. Now I stand here and I don't know where I go.
Mm.
Okay, so that is the reason whenever we did the float left and float right, immediately we have to add a one more class here as a clear fix. I mean, the class name is, it's up to you. Whatever the class that you want to add, you can add. But the property
Mm.
we have to use clear both. So what it is going to do is, it is going to clear the space both sides, left and right, so that it will not create any issue for the next coming element after these two elements.
Mm.
Clear?
Yeah.
So yeah, I told you, like, we are whenever we are discussing, like, more CSS properties, for sure the immediate day you won't get that. Slowly when
Mm.
once you practice that, okay, then
Yeah.
only you will get it. So
I'm
nowadays we
planning.
are not actually going to, no, sorry.
I'm planning on searching about clear and uh.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. But nowadays we are not actually going to use a float properties anywhere. Very rarest cases we are using. Instead of that float, we are doing that display flex. But whenever you see float, right, you don't feel that,
Mm.
what is this new property, because I didn't explain me that float. What is the meaning of this property? So I don't want you to feel like that.
Mm.
Okay, so that is the
That's
reason that I'm explaining that. Okay, and now we'll focus on
right.
this. Now we are good with this, the right side one. Okay, as long as I decrease the width, right, it is going towards to right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and now 10% we have, and when it comes to left now, here is the challenge we have. We have a two more divs here. One is the for navigation, the menus, and second one is for again logo.
Low. Mm.
Within this left nav itself, if you see that left nav, okay, again
Mhm.
we need to divide this as a two parts. So one is for one div and second one is the second div. And if you see this, if you whenever you consider this as enter this one place, so this is again a float left and this is again a float right. You getting
Mm.
that?
Yeah.
So now for this div, what I'm going to do is again float left, and this is, even though if we are not pushing that float right, still it is fine because the first element that we made that. So now for a left, you can increase the height, sorry, width.
Mm.
Okay, you can keep that 55 or something. Yeah. So again, if you need some space for it, now you can apply for this left. Now we can apply the padding left
Mm.
only for left now, not the header. Like you can apply for
Yeah.
20 pixels. Now you can see the gap here.
Mhm.
Okay, but now if you see your code, right? So you have one header. Within the header, you have made that left nav, and within the left nav, you are going to create a one more float left for this div and float right for this div. And when it comes to right now, again float right. Again, this is bit whenever you see your code, and for readability, it is not that much. And whenever you do the responsive, it is really difficult and tough.
Mm.
Okay, so to resolve all of them only, so display flex came into the picture, so that simply we can make that, we can divide that three divs in the same way, and the first one will be obviously into the center. Now, if you see that sweet green, it is not exactly the center,
Yeah.
definitely, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
And if you see this right, this screen, whenever I do this, and if you see that exact, it is occupying the center place, but when it comes to this, not exactly. There is a
Yeah.
difference, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so all these problems will come with the float, but still we can get the output. There is no problem to get the output. But this is the same point that I was telling previously. So getting output is not a big deal. We can get it out. But the second thing is, it must be responsive. You have to handle the responsive. And whenever you see your code structure, you should not feel that, okay, it contains a lot of things,
Mm.
right? So our
Yeah.
everything should be covered, right? So
Yeah.
the temporary purpose that we have made like this, so we have lot of things to do, like we need to remove this blue color and we need to remove these underlines, and whenever hover on this, then only we need like an underline. Now you can see whenever I hover on this only, I can see that underline.
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah. So all of them we have to cover one by one. While I'm telling this, making this page right in the process itself, I'm explaining everything, and I'll tell you whenever whenever I start a point like float or something. The same time itself, I'll tell you that whether we are using in the real time or not, so that you will take the notes.
Mm.
Okay, so now we have explained that I have explained that float and all the other stuff, right? Left now, right now, and we have added the classes. Still, we can see at least a positive output here, that so we have a logo, we have menus, and we have now accounts and everything, right?
Yeah.
But it may match your prototype, but when you make that responsive, we don't know. We need to do a lot of hard work to make that responsive. That much of hard
Mhm.
this is not really required.
Mm.
Okay, so
Okay.
but I'm not going to explain display flex immediately. There is some time. We'll focus on this, how to make these links clickable, and how to apply colors, and whenever you hover on it, then only how we can see the the underline and all those parts we can cover. So because those are very basic things,
Yeah.
so once I cover all of them, then we'll focus on like display and all everything, so that the
Okay.
same layout itself we can change with other classes and other element stuff.
Mm.
Okay. Any
Mm-hmm.
questions so far?
No question.
Okay. So practice that the same thing. Okay. And
Uh-huh.
whenever you get a question slide, just keep a note of it somewhere, and we'll discuss in the next day session.
Okay. Also, when will I get the recordings?
You can ask these people, like whoever is running this session, right? You can ask them; they will
Yeah.
provide you.
Okay.
I mean, no. So far, you did not get any recording sessions.
No, I've been doing
Then
through
how you are
memory.
practicing?
Through memory.
Okay. No, you should ask. I mean, every day I'm telling, no, you can
Sometimes I take.
later you can check the recording session. Later you can check the recording session. Every day I'm telling, no.
Yeah, I practice, but sometimes I take pictures, like
No,
just to
no, that
see.
doesn't work out. No, see, whenever you follow the
Yeah.
same session again, then you'll get an idea. Because
Uh-huh.
definitely you have to listen, probably two times the recording session. Because it's
Mm.
not just a output, right? So the points, key points that what I'm telling, like let us that float we are not using nowadays in the current applications. We're using display flex and all. So all these points you should understand. You should keep in your mind. So that whenever you
Mm.
build applications or website, you also should use the display flex only, not like this, right?
Mm.
Yeah, just ask them.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.